We are moving.
Yeah.
So like I grew up a lot like you guys grew up, just out here, primarily African-American community. Didn't really know a whole lot of people. Didn't have my dad at home, just had my mom. He cares about who you are.
Man, we need that hope. You guys are the light.
Just overwhelming is really the only word I have for it, of the feeling of just what a blessing it is that we get to be able to do this.
So Joth Ricci reached out to me. Joth is the president of Dutch Bros, and he's also the guy who's a co-founder of Taste for Equity that I got a chance to be a part of the last couple years. He reached out about participating in a panel for the annual convention that takes place to discuss the Oregon business plan. And I wasn't very knowledgeable on what that whole convention is about and what takes place. But all I knew is Joth was reaching out, and anytime Joth reaches out about something, you know it's something meaningful, purposeful, and something you probably want to be a part of. So I was excited to learn more and take part in the day.
All right,
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet
Ryan
you.
Flynn. Meet you. So in we're thinking 88 to 90, all right? He played for me in high school.
Yeah,
Wow.
he's my freshman basketball coach.
Wow.
Yeah, we're here together.
And look at, so don't forget,
Yeah.
it all comes back around.
Yeah, I know. I know.
Joth selected 5 of us that he wanted to be a part of this panel to talk about how we were impacted in our respective businesses, careers, professions throughout the time of the pandemic, and then also how do you spin that forward in ways that it can impact positive change for Oregon, how the state can do things, be very intentional about ways to navigate the rough waters we've seen over the last couple of years and improve life for all Oregonians moving forward.
I've invited these leaders from around the state. So we do have a statewide panel here.
So we know what works. We actually, from the 1918 flu pandemic, have great city and state data. And one of the takeaways when I was first writing op-eds about that moment, as we were confronted with it in March 2020, was that all the action in the US in 1918 and in many other places around the world was local. It was mayors, it was public health officials, it was governors who were really running the show.
We, like many high schools or many schools, are blessed with a very, very strong, supportive community. So we had that before the pandemic, we had it during, and we have it after. And how do we draw on those assets that are our collective assets as a staff, as a student body, as parents, as our community?
Thank you for having me go after 2 high-level educators. So of course my answer
Well, Vance and Eric,
is not gonna be at quite that level.
I enjoyed all the panel members, even from the moment I got a chance to come in and meet some of them. It was my first time meeting each and every single one of them. It's people who I know like truly care about what they are doing. They care about other people. They care about people across the state. So it just felt really fun to have conversations with them and get to know them a little bit better.
My thoughts kind of always circle back to how is this kind of thing impacting kids. And one thing I saw from adults in my entertainment business that I want to be able to get ahead of with kids is being able to identify who you are versus what you do. Because what I saw right away as soon as the pandemic hit and we get the call from the NBA saying the season is shutting down, and so all of a sudden now you're no longer an announcer because there aren't any games. You know, now who are you? And that was a struggle for a lot of people in my profession because there was really never that examination of who am I deeper than what it is I do, than my profession.
We cannot lose those connections, no matter what's going on. So we really got to get creative. We got to figure out how to continue to have these connections. You know, people ask us all the time, you know, how we made such an impact in such a short time with our community, and it's really simple. We stepped up, got very active, and did it in creative, safe ways.
Joth had given me a heads up about Vance and how much he enjoys Vance, and the way that he met Vance was he heard Vance speaking at something a while ago, and Joth was in the crowd, and Vance didn't know that. He didn't know who Joth was. But after Joth heard Vance speak that time, Joth went and got connected and said, I need to know you and I need to know what you're about. And as I'm sitting there listening to Vance talk, and I can hear how much he cares about his kids in Southern Oregon and what he's trying to do through his organization, it moved me to like want to know more about him as well and know how can I get more connected to you and what you're doing, because I love it. You can tell he's one of those people that is just looking to live a lifestyle of helping other people.
So all things like that, I can help you get all situated and set up. Cool. So I'm gonna reach out on that and give you my cell.
That's my cell on there.
Okay.
On that card I gave you.
Okay.
Card. Yeah.
So I'm gonna hit you with my number today, so you have it.
Okay.
You let me know. I'll be happy to meet up, and for real, man.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, man.
Yeah.
This is yeah, you gotta see what my man got going on, man. You gotta see what he got going on.
Yeah.
So what's the biggest thing y'all need down there?
We need a lot, man.
Yeah.
But you know, resources, funding.
Yeah.
We don't have our own facility, so we're at the disposal of whoever can let us let us go in. You know, we're not.
You trying to get a home base?
Trying to get a home.
Yeah.
You know?
Okay.
We got the liaison program now. We got the kids program. We got people in the community that are looking for us, but they can't even come to us unless we do an event.
Yeah. Okay.
This was a great experience. I got a chance to hear from a lot of people who care about a lot of the things I care about. And I'm hopeful that with all those decision makers, leaders in our state that were a part of this whole day and they heard all these different panels speaking, I'm hopeful that ultimately it can impact change.
That's what we need. That's what I would challenge all change agents to do, is become convicted. If you're not already, become convicted in what's going on and how you can help. You know, like, we don't need to do this all the time in order to get it. We don't have to wait till doing this next year to get it.
I firmly believe what's best for kids is always words to live by. And as we we sat through the presentations today, I think if we as a state can think about what's best for kids, if we catch kids early enough and we care for our kids, and as a society and a culture we can demonstrate that we put kids first, a lot of the stuff we talked about today will fall right in line with our strategy. But if we don't have the culture of what's best for kids, we're going to continue to have problems.
Project Never Again is a community-funded group, nonprofit run by Seema Steffany, who has a very personal attachment to this project that she started. It is to extend dignity to children in foster care by giving them a duffel bag when they are placed within foster care instead of a trash bag. Right now in Oregon and pretty much across the country, when a child goes from their household into the foster care system, they are given a trash bag to put their belongings in. Everything that they have goes into that trash bag. And she was a foster child when she was younger and experienced this. And it really made an impact on her and caused a lot of trauma, and really started a fire within her to start this organization so that every child that enters foster care will receive a duffel bag to put their belongings in instead of a trash bag.
We actually got a chance to meet Seema for the first time a couple years ago, but here on this afternoon, it's our first time meeting other members and volunteers of the organization.
So our volunteers actually, this is where community completely steps in. We call these courage cards, they're greeting cards, but the hope is that every time a child looks at this, it gives them the courage to say, you know, to carry on, to say, I can do this. There's someone out there who does care. So our volunteers actually personalize these cards, and we do thousands of cards every year. They handwrite these, and it goes in every duffel bag. So some things we forget, you know, in a normal scenario, we write greeting cards, you get stuff, you know, life happens. But for a child in foster care, that may never happen. So to someone to give you a greeting card, simple words, stay strong, you know, you can do this, means a lot. It really does. So that's what we do. And along with the luggage tag, and even our tags, they don't have addresses on them. We don't want to remind kids that they're moving multiple homes.
Yeah, that they have to cross it out and write a new address every time. To provide one of these duffel bags along with the courage card that they provide in there and the name tag is $10. And that is just, it's amazing that that's the amount that it takes for one bag, which goes to one kid. So many people have an opportunity to give. Maybe they can't give $100, but they can possibly give 10 and know that they provided a duffel bag to one child in foster care. Resources, as far as money, aren't the only way to give. Being able to help on the day that they write the courage cards for all of these children in the spring, and then also the day that they pack everything, which I got to be a part of a couple years ago. It was during the pandemic. We packed everything in Seema's driveway. It was like a 100-degree day in the morning, and my mom and I went out there and were able to help pack them.
Something that really strikes me about Project Never Again is no one is paid.
Yeah.
$1.
Yeah.
They don't get paid at all for this work. And not only do they do the backpacking days and, you know, giving it out and all the legwork that goes into that, because there's a lot, but they were out this past year working in Moda Center, working at concessions at games, and then that had to get shut down for them because of all the COVID different things going on. It was just too difficult, and it was tough to know who was going to be able to show up certain nights depending on what's going on. But I feel like they should have never even been in that position in the first place, where they have to go somewhere to go work, and do this. So I just feel like it really speaks to the passion that they have.
I'm originally from Ethiopia, and then the adoption failed about a month after we got to the States, and then we kind of ended up in the foster system. I didn't know the language, I didn't know the food or the culture, but ultimately it was just my sister and I against the world. Not only did I lose my country, my family, and just everything I knew, I also kind of lost that dignity. I didn't have anything, and I remember a caseworker gave me a bag of clothes, just in a black duffel bag, and
Like, you could still remember that today, exactly what that moment was like, all of you?
Yeah.
Okay.
You can close your eyes and you can go back to it. It's not something you forget. But I also felt like there was this expectation that I should just be worshiping the person who gave me those things. This expectation that it's not a basic need. There was when I left in high school senior year, so I'm a sophomore in college right now. But when I left, I was told I didn't own anything because I didn't pay for it. A child just wants to be seen. Yes, materials, great, but what does a child need? And what do they want to be heard and they want to be seen. I think seeing the child and meeting them where they are, and that's why I'm behind Project Never Again.
I knew going into the day that it would probably get emotional at some point, because I was thinking back to when we first met with Seema and heard her story and how attached she was to it in a way where she's taken it and now she's turned it into this organization. You know, there's extreme passion and fire behind that. But then once we met these other women involved and they started opening up their stories, that was hard.
The hardest thing about the whole trash bags is like the symbolism, I feel like, that goes before it. It's like an afterthought, like, well, this is what's doable, this is what's manageable, this is what's tolerable. You have to be picky. You gotta be like, what's heavy, what's not, what will make the bag rip, what will ruin it. Make sure you don't, bring your favorite bottle of perfume, it might break in there. It's like, I left a lot of things behind, and then my family moved back to the Middle East, which was a whole level of abandonment I never understood. And then all my things were thrown away that were left in the house. And so it was just a lot of starting from scratch over and over again.
It was really emotional, and I thought that we would both get emotional at some point, but I got emotional very quickly. I think just the fact that these women were so willing to open up and tell us their stories, and you never know what kind of wound that will reopen. That is like, how healed is this wound? We don't know. Meeting you, like, is this scabbed over? Is there scar tissue over this, or is it still like an open wound?
Since my siblings and I were born with multiple different problems, I was born with fetal alcohol and drug problems. I was, let's just say, the easiest way to say it is I was a high-priced kid, meaning they could find problems with me and get more money from the state. The state paid them even though they adopted me. So we were just money. So from a very, very, very young age, it was ingrained in me, said to me, shown to me over and over again that I am disposable, that I am trash, that I am nothing. My other sibling moved out the day they turned to 18, and I was the only one left in the house. And I ended up getting placed in a foster care system, and that was because I never missed a day of school in my life. And my brother said she missed 2 days of school and this is not normal. And they came to the house and found me almost dead. I ended up being in a coma for 3 days, a medically induced coma. Came out of the coma on my 12th birthday and was, sorry.
No, take your time.
I was not able to go back to my home. I was not able to grab any of my stuff, kind of what you said. I didn't get to grab anything, so I entered the foster care system with the clothes on my back and my hospital gown. Throughout 9 years of foster care, I got moved, I want to say, to 34 homes around there. Growing up, I didn't know what was normal. I didn't know that it was normal to go see a doctor whenever you needed. I didn't know it was normal to, to be loved and what love was, or how you were supposed to be treated. And to me, Project Never Again is a lot more than just a duffel bag. It's a lot more than just stopping the garbage bags. It's changing the mental health. It's changing the thoughts. It's changing the fact that kids, for once in their life, may feel okay to enter the system and not only have the clothes on their back.
And we were always told that children are to be seen and not heard. So growing up, that voice that you have an entitlement to have, isn't there. And I look at my daughter and I do a lot for her because I've always grown up with, I just wish somebody would have cared. I wish somebody would have told me this is what love is supposed to be.
Yeah.
I think the biggest one that I think you guys all need to know too, and if you don't hear it, let me tell you, you are enough just the way you are. You have nothing to prove to anybody. We were served a bad hand in life, but you know what? Look how beautiful you are sitting here today. Your voice is going to be impactful.
I knew I would get emotional, but I didn't know I would get that emotional so quickly. And I think the reason that I did was because when I was a kid, I experienced some level of trauma. My dad is an alcoholic and bipolar, and there were definitely very hard times, sections of times in my life, but I grew up in my own home. I have 4 siblings. I have a loving mother, and I had those things to keep me grounded, and I don't think I ever questioned whether or not I was loved. And so to hear these stories, I can try to extend compassion and empathy, but the closest thing I can do to draw back on my own experiences is like, I'm expected to go through life and deal with things with just what I experienced, and it's nothing compared to the stories of what these women have experienced.
Foster care is like where it touches our heart probably the most.
Just the ability to keep going. I think it's just a passion and a drive that we just really want to expose your story in whatever way you want to share it, because stuff like this, it just should not happen. A child is like innocent and they deserve, like you were saying, you shouldn't just praise an adult because they give you clothes. That is a basic need. Shelter is a basic need. Love is a basic need. And to think that a child wasn't just given that in an overflowing, abundant amount is just something that really is just hard for us to even fathom.
I just can't thank you guys all enough for being willing to open up and share, because I do think it will do so much good. And we are just blessed that you are willing to talk to us, really.
Thank you for being vulnerable, and I honestly feel that that's something like growing up, being vulnerable was seen as your weakness.
Yeah.
But growing up, like now I know that is our strength.
Yes.
Thank you all for stepping in and doing this.
So, what do you need? What does Project Never Again need?
We don't run on any federal or state grants. So community funding donations, each bag is like about $10. So, it's not something that it's a lot, but community needs to know that they are making an impact. So monetary donations, obviously. I hope that our community not only comes around our mission, Project Never Again, to extend dignity and compassion, but the community becomes the voice that will stand behind this change. And that is what I'm hoping for.
Awesome. How many bags do you need?
At least 10,000 bags every year to ensure that every child in every county gets a duffel bag if needed.
Are you close to that mark?
No.
Oh, no. Not even
No.
close. When we first met with Seema, that was already enough to be involved in the organization. And then after hearing his group, it's like,
How could you not be?
yeah, you got to be involved.
While I'm at it, maybe I can ask for like a car.
What else?
A car, beach house.
Trip to Hawaii.
Yeah, I'll take that.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, in all seriousness, like, we thank you for sharing all this, because we know, like, it's not easy. But you have our commitment. We're part of the team, and we want to use your voices to continue what you're doing. One thing I really admire about all of you is there's not a victim mentality, and there very easily could be one. Because like you were saying, Linda, like, y'all didn't ask for this. Nobody, like, you didn't do anything, to be a part of this. And like, it's so easy to kind of just fall and wilt underneath that, and to be able to flip that and turn it into what y'all turned it into, like, incredible.
What up? What's happening, man? Good to see you. Oh, man. It's so good to see you. Yeah, man.
All right, remember in the last episode when we said that Techifi has a little surprise?
They have agreed to do a special gift to a certain organization.
In a little bit.
Yeah, but you gotta keep watching to find out what that's gonna be all about. Today's the day. We are at Elevate Oregon. Techifi has agreed to install an entertainment room system, whole thing for the kids at Elevate, where they can come to a room, congregate, just have fun, be together. Guess who doesn't know about this? Donnell Morgan. Executive director, has no clue we're doing this. It's gonna be a surprise. And then Frank from Techifi, the lead man, he is so excited about this. When we first presented the idea to him, he jumped all over it. He wanted to give back to his community, and he wanted to bless these kids from Elevate Oregon with this technology, with these systems, sound, all of this stuff. So we're here today, scoping it out, looking around. Paul Tabron and Jordan Bader are leading the way. They take us to this back room where they think like that's the best spot. I didn't even know they had a back room back there. I did not know that was a thing back there. And so we see it, and Frank feels like that's the spot.
I had a couple of ideas. One, just kind of talk them out, see what you think would be good. Look at doing like an Xbox, getting like kind of set up for like 4 players, kind of more group like that.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
This would be a great place to have little meetings and powwows. If you have groups of 20 to 40 people, if we get a large enough screen and make it kind of easy to connect a laptop or something, easily be able to do group meetings for anybody. So
bigger presentation meetings, especially because the conference room, it holds maybe 8 people. This would be better for a larger meeting, but also I was just really thinking about the kids and like learning how to give presentations.
I was thinking that.
We talked earlier.
Here, they can learn that. That just adds, another element to the program as far as kids are learning.
That's life skills.
Yeah. Oh man, what?
Yeah, that's right.
Again, we're just so excited to work with Techifi for our own home build, knowing that Frank and his company is so willing and wanting to give back, especially to Elevate, which is an organization that is just so near and dear to our heart.
It's called Elevate, and one thing I found so interesting, not just kids, but people who come through here who have worked here, their lives have literally elevated, to a next level, whether it's going to pursue a PhD, going to be a doctor, another opportunity, within the organization, becoming a manager, becoming a leader. And I think that's great for kids to see that people that, they spend time with elevating themselves and it inspires them to do so. So yeah, I love it here.
That's fantastic.
This is family.
Yeah.
I thought about getting a tattoo, but I was like, nah, I'm cool.
It's just walls. So Paul and Jordan, they're looking at it like, we've just seen this as walls for years. Like, that's what it is. But Frank, he walks in there and like he's seen the vision as he's going. He's like, he sees the TV. He sees, okay, gaming system right there. Put that there, and then it flashes there.
The thing that's going to be even more interesting is the kids who have graduated.
Yeah.
Man,
that's how it is, though. That's how it is. When you leave, that next group, they get everything.
It's funny
They get everything.
Okay, so the plan is in place.
Yeah.
Frank knows what he wants to do. Paul, Jordan, some other staff at Elevate, they know what's going on. Donnell still has no clue.
That's right.
I can't wait.
We're gonna keep it that way.
I can't wait to
for a
surprise
little
him.
longer.
I can't wait
It's
to
gonna
surprise
be
him.
good.
Thank you all. 7 o'clock at night, you're here.
Yeah.
You could be doing a million other things, but you're here, so I definitely appreciate it.
Oh, somebody took my lunch. They jacked my lunch. They jacked my lunch. Man. Guys. All right.